Morning, guys. Morning? Yeah, feels like morning to me. Took a shower, and so we do have a prepped face in terms of cleanliness and moisture, in terms of the stubble being hydrated. We're going to scrape at it with this flat bottom British Tech. Wonderful, wonderful shaver. And feather blade we're going to stick in it. We're going to use the Watchman again from Zingari Man soaps. And then I'm going to be using this B5 with a hammer and chisel handle. Look at that, that's pretty, huh? And I have really come to love my B4s in terms of the declaration brushes. That might be my favorite knot, but I really like this, the way this one's set. The width and the loft of this one just seem to be perfect. So this is going to remind me how the B5 feels. All right, got my 3D printed bowl. Link is in the description if you want to print your own. All right, we'll also be finishing off today with Chiseled Face Midnight Stag because it's good. Now we will start by putting the blade in the razor while my hands are relatively dry. This has only had one use. And it did very well yesterday in the Wolfman. Now I'm going to replace this handle. This is the thin handle that came with this razor years and years ago when they put it out. But it's hollow and it's small, and so I like to switch it out a lot of times. Now here's that flat bottom Tech. You see there's no diamond bevel pattern that's with the American Techs. It's flat, it's got these slots. The plating on it is just impeccable. It says made in England on the bottom. This has also got the peaked cap that some people call it. The ridge there in the middle on the underside comes to a peak instead of just being a curve. It also has the 4 posts on the corners to keep the blade perfectly aligned all the time. And to me, if I had to pick a vintage razor and only one to go with, and I'm going to put this Wolfman H2 handle on it, if I had to pick a vintage head, a vintage razor to go with, I really might pick this flat bottom Tech. If you want the feel of a hybrid Tech, but which is a very expensive razor to try to get, very rare. You want that same experience without the price tag, flat bottom Tech I think is the way to go. So a sharp blade in a mild, consistent razor is a wonderful thing that I often enjoy. Let me check my camera again. It popped out of me a second ago, nearly fell into the sink. Fortunately, I don't keep it full of water. Now, I'm not dipping into my Watchman tub yet because I was graciously provided with my order of another Zingari Man product, a sample from them of the Watchman. And so I'm going to keep using that because I liked the scent the first time I used this soap, but it was just very faint. It's not a strong scent. And that's just not usually one of the things that I go for. And so I may pass this soap on to somebody else. So now I learned last time a little bit more than a 1/4 teaspoon was better for this soap. So I went ahead and rounded it off. And now I will press this into the bottom of the lather bowl. All right, with this soap base, it's soft enough. We don't have to be too conscientious about making sure chunks like that are pressed in and smoothed out firmly. It'll be absorbed no problem. I'm going to shake a lot of the water out. And let's tilt you down for the lather. I better do it with 2 hands so that and make sure the phone doesn't pop out. Hopefully. So the notes here, the tagline on the soap reads, "Stormy air and dark seas." Neat concept. You definitely get the aquatic. The The aquatic type water note is definitely coming out. Now she didn't really list the scent notes on her website, but she kind of talked about an idea, almost told a story about it, and so my guess is that it's supposed to have notes of water, salt, ocean life, and almost a sweet warmth like a lighthouse lamp. Now, I didn't really get any warmth from it before, but I did get a little bit of sweetness. Almost like a muted fruit type scent, like a plum or something like that. I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 tablespoons right away, because I'm confident it's going to need at least that. I didn't really get too much in terms of an ocean life scent before. I did get a hint of salt. I am trying this again because based on my first impression, it was just too weak to really enjoy. And what I was able to perceive was just, not all that special. I think a lot of the nuance is in some of the supporting elements on this one. It's not a sharp, bitter, or pungent type soap. It's not like Baker Street or Sharp Dressed Man or something like that, where it's going to hit you with some, big citrus or something like that. Those are very easy to perceive, even if the scent is, weak in general. But this doesn't have that, and I like that about it. I like that it's a smooth scent. I like that it's not up in your face, because I'm a night shaver. Not really getting too much more than I did yesterday. Mainly that aquatic. Kind of a sweet aquatic. Not sweet like, don't think cookies or gourmand or kitchen or something like that. Just a muted, sweet, fruity aquatic is my kind of guess. Now, the soap base is amazing. We know that for sure. Oh, that's right. I watered it too much last time. You know what? I'm going to stop at 3 teaspoons this time and hopefully learn my lesson. I pushed it too far. It looked really good last time in the bowl, like with the elasticity and all that stuff. But this one has so many moisturizing type agents that it can look really good but be a little bit too sparse. And so I don't want to make that mistake again. So let's just assume that that is a good mix, and I'm going to try that out. Okay, so 3 teaspoons or rounded off 1/4 teaspoon of soap. 3 teaspoons water, rounded off 1/4 teaspoon of soap. And get a little bit of water on my face. There we go. This is a big bloom right here. Oh, the softness. This is so good. So glad I bought this brush. The handle is not one that I traditionally gravitate toward. It's got a little smaller butt end here than up here, and I don't like the look of that as much, but I'm so glad I bought it anyway, because the coloring of the handle I really do enjoy. And then the knot is just it's probably the best B5 that I have tried. Easy splay. Very soft. The backbone is enough still to keep those tips, at me where I'm enjoying them instead of splaying them over to the side. Well, this is definitely not a lather that is too watered down, that's for sure. Let's just go with it. I might normally try to add a little bit of water to this, but let's just go with it. So I love these flat bottom techs, and whether you put them keep them in their original handle, or you put them in a maggored handle that's, inexpensive but stainless steel. Razor Rock has some good handles too. West Coast Shaving has a selection of decent handles where you can just buy the handle by itself. And all these guys that I'm mentioning are good in terms of the materials used, or quality type materials. And this is just cutting the hair easily, very smooth. I don't really even feel the blade. That's how good it is. But it's still efficient. It's not only comfort. It's not comfort for comfort's sake, because I will end up with a very nice close shave. Also, the fact that this lather is a little thicker is going to mask a little bit of the blade feel too. Normally my lather is just a little thinner than this. All right, let me rinse. Well, if you know me, sometimes I can't help but thin down a lather a little bit. And so I did add a half a teaspoon of water to this. So let's just take a look at the elasticity here. Oh, that's nice. That is a little thicker than I often go. So we're still not quite in my perfect range for a lot of soaps. But as I've always said, the soaps are different and relative. And so some soaps prefer to be run a little thicker. Oh, you know what? Last shave I had a little shoulder visitor. So I guess that's a trend. Oh, did I get another one landed in the same spot? Well, at least my technique is pretty consistent. And that's still quite a thick lather, very luxurious. And I think that's one of the things these newer bases are going for. Ease of lather, because maybe you don't have to work as hard to get a good lather. And the lather works. The shaving soap and lather work well when underwater, I think, is one of the big trends right now. It doesn't affect me quite as much, since I believe that I know how to adequately water a soap and I don't fall into that category. And so maybe that's why I am not quite as impressed with a lot of these new soap bases as some people are, because they're addressing a problem that I don't have an issue with. Wonderful comfort here, just terrific. Now it's sharp enough to where if I was irresponsible with my shaving, with my angles, or shaving over an area too many times, it would give me some razor burn. It's not that smooth, but that's the secret. You have to abuse it or have poor technique to make it angry. And rinse. And I haven't really noticed the scent of the soap during the shave. As I think about it, I don't remember anything. Yeah, I mean, the aquatic is there. Now I'm picking up a little bit more of something. Okay, yeah, bam. It is an almost sweet warmth of a lighthouse lamp. Not lighthouse lamp, but an oil burning lamp. It reminds me a little bit about lamplight pennants from Declaration Grooming, but it's very faint. I might not even be able to pick it out and identify it as such without this description. It's in there, but very faint. Now again, you don't have to scrub as much on the second and third passes as I'm doing. I just really enjoy the comfort of this brush. Feels just terrific. And that was plenty of soap. A couple of passes left over. It's kind of about the right amount of leftovers I like to have at the end of a shave. And third pass. And sure enough, it popped loose. I'm going to have to be very careful. I have a case that has a thing on the back of it that where a ring pops out so that I can hold it hold it securely. The ring also acts as a kickstand. I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. I'm glad I didn't cut myself, like reacting to the camera falling, you know, trying to catch it, which I did not do. I could have cut myself. All right, we'll take a little bit of the lather, and this stuff just feels great. It's quality lather. But the camera mount has a little bit of a felt pad or a foam pad on the interior part of it, and so if I remove that foam pad, maybe I'll get a little bit of extra room in there for the little grippy handles to hold on to the phone, and that may be all the difference I need. Well, wonderfully comfortable shave, and that's what I get with this razor, and that's with a feather blade. Many would regard it as touchy and extra sharp, but with a razor, a smooth razor like this that holds the blade really firmly, you're not getting a lot of vibration in the blade, not a lot of audio, and that means a smoother shave. And it's comfortable. And then of course, as you age the blade, it smooths out even more and it stays just as good of a cutter for the next like 30 shaves, at least to me. But still, your comfort is really high. I'm sorry, I got a hair floating around in my face. And then you can try other blades in it, and they're going to be smooth in many cases. And so it's just a wonderful razor. I think 60 bucks, you know, and I think it's worth it. If you buy a vintage, I'd recommend a vintage tech, which you can get online for about 10 bucks. And then save up your money for the flat bottom tech from the UK. Just a wonderful, wonderful razor. Just a different shaving experience, especially if all you know is those DE89 type razors, the Muleys, the Parker has a similar head, the Edwin Jagger has the DE89, a lot of those other designs out there with no name have copied that same Chinese head before. If that's what you've used, then the smoothness you're about to experience is very different, and we're talking about lifetime quality material on the vintage head, brass, you know, inside probably rhodium plated, but brass in there, maybe chrome. Just terrific, just terrific. All right, well, big success with the lather today. Yeah, it's a very light fragrance. I'm glad I finally was able to pick up on the sweet warmth there. And I never really got the ocean life. I got a little bit of a hint of the salt the first time I used it. Did I get any salt this time? No, not this time. So that's a hint as well. So a lot of them are hints. The aquatic is bold. The aquatic's in your face there. It's going to be easily perceived. But the rest of them might be a little tough if you use as much water as I do in your lathers. Very wet lathers are going to dilute the soap a little bit. I use a quarter, sometimes a third as much soap as other guys that really load heavily. And so you guys may be able to pick up a lot more on the scent than I do, for sure. Now, speaking of scent, oh yeah, let me get a full rinse on first. Now, what the soap lacked in scent strength, Midnight Stag will far and wide make up for that. A very manly scent, maybe one of the manliest in the shaving world. Lots of alcohol here, big old burn. A little bit of cooling agent as well. Ah, what a great scent. And this has notes of leather, gasoline, smoke, and wood, among other manly things. Yeah, awesome. Man, that's so good. I'm so glad that Chiseled Face invented that. I want to clean up. I also wanted to say this. I have a few Wolfman razors and other razors that cost a little bit of money, and I've saved up. This is really my only hobby, and so I choose to spend my money that way. They're also razors I'll be able to pass down to my son, and so those are my particular values. But for those of you who don't have that kind of money to spend on these razors, in terms of the lower gaps where I really enjoy the experience of the shave, the more mild razors that, let's not say mild, but let's say smooth, but really close cutters, that's where I like to live in terms of my razor feel experience. And this little $60 razor fits that bill just as good as a razor that costs a lot more. So if you can't have a Wolfman type experience, I advise look for something like this on eBay. If you like it kind of in the lower ranges of sharpness and comfort, the blade feel, that sort of thing. Now, if you like really aggressive razors, that's a different story. Can't help you there. It's not my forte. But and the Wolfman razors definitely have more aggressive gaps, that's for sure. I live at the low end of their range. And if you like that too, if you think that might be you, track these on eBay, price them out, and see, watch when they come up. Look at the Shave Bazaar. Every once in a while they'll come up on the Shave Bazaar too, on Reddit, for instance. And also you've got places like Badger and Blade that have a buy-sell trade forum section of their forum system. Damn Fine Shave is another one that has a pretty big buy-sell trade type area in their system as well. So those are great places to get used to soaps and hardware as well. But if you want an expensive experience, same feel, really, then you're going to want to check these guys out. You don't have to pay tons of money to get that same feel. And quality too. The quality of this head is just terrific. It may not be as precision machined like a Wolfman is, but my face can't tell the difference between a machined tolerance of, all these decimal places, right? It just feels great. All right, there we go. I dried out. This is a dense knot, so make sure if you have one like this, you give it a really good rinsing to get the soap out of the center. One big old splay on this one. What a great brush. Just felt so good this time. All right, there we go. Well, I hope there was something good in this shave for you. I just noticed after I took a shower, I left the bathroom fan on. I hope that wasn't too much of a distraction for you today. So we're good. The Watchman scent is interesting to me, but it's not strong enough to make it easily interesting. And so I believe I'll pass on this one, because we just have so many good soaps out there. If we had less, then I'd definitely be probably keeping it. Of course, the Sego base is wonderful, so it has nothing to do with the base. It's just a scent, a little bit light. Now, Heather comes from a skincare perspective, and so she may not be including strong oils and scents in her soaps for that very purpose, to make sure she's not going to irritate anybody's skin, that sort of thing. So there could be some intentionality behind that. She may also be running it a little bit light, so that so many people overload their soaps, and she's compensating for that, which is a good thing to do if that's what the majority of your users are doing. And I bet that's true. All right, well, there we go. Hope there's been something good in here for you with the Zingari Man soap, using the vintage Gillette flat bottom tech. Wonderful, and the balance was great with the Wolfman handle, and this is the hollow handle, I'm almost sure. And so that made it a little more compatible with such a small head. There we go. You guys take care. Good day.